Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Account for Life podcast. And here's what we're talking about today. How do you do things that's new or hard? How do you do things that's new or hard? You know, Doing things is interesting. Doing things is interesting. And how you do things, when you do things, the types of things you do, it all comes down to a few things. And I'm just kind of peel back the curtain a little bit just so that we can see why we do things or how we do things and when we do things. So I was thinking about this morning, right? This morning I get up early. I'm trying something new. I'm trying I just, you know what? I had been waking up early but not getting up. Meaning, my body would wake up around 4:30, but I wouldn't get up. I would keep going. I would just sleep again and go and sleep until 6 o'clock. And so I said, what if I could? What if I could just wake up and still feel good and just go to the gym and do it early? What if I could get back to doing that? Have you ever wanted to do something maybe that you've done before, but because it's been like in the past, it seems hard to do? Then now let's ask the other question. Have you ever done something you've never done that it absolutely seems hard? So in making this decision last week, I'm still working it out, that I would wake up early. I had no intentions on going to the gym early. I was going to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm going to get to really what I'm talking about today. I was really just getting up early just so that I can, I need to pray more. I need to really get into some things and just get a better use of my morning time. And this morning was like, I talked to the Lord. He says, go to the gym. Go now. And go every day. Gym opens at 5. Get in there by 5:15. Get in there at 5:15 every day. And I'm like, listen, 2 weeks ago, that seemed hard as heck. Get to the gym at 5:30. I've got to be up at like 4:30. What? That seemed hard as heck 2 weeks ago. But this week, it's like, oh. And then I did it today. I was like, oh, this is good. Like I'd much rather get home done at 6:45. I'd be done working out. Then I can just get into my day and whatever's happening. And I says, man, that's interesting how you could change your mind. You can change your mind just by stepping forward. Oh, you should write that down. You can change your mind just by stepping forward. Oh, shoot. Oh my goodness. Like I'm in a revelation right now. I'm in a revelation. I don't know about you, but I'm in a revelation right now. Gwen says, yeah, I was supposed to actually hear you around 4-ish. You can change your mind just by stepping forward. Just by stepping forward. Like you don't even have to fully commit. Like right now, I'm actually doing something I've never done before. I'm creating from a different perspective that I've never created before, all because I started thinking about something. Back in 2019, I did a video. It was on this podcast, and it was called What Hollywood Knows About Success That You Don't and What I Don't. They pretend everything. Uh-oh. Do you know this is a clue? This is a huge clue to life. Hollywood pretends everything. Hollywood is the land of make-believe. Someone says, you know what? Man, I want to write this story. I'm going to write this script. I'm going to write this movie. I'm going to write this play. I'm going to write this song. Hollywood is a bunch of pretend. And they sell millions and billions of dollars. Something that I'm working on right now. Got this idea. And I'm like, oh my goodness. We used to think, all right, you used to think, and I used to think that you had to know how to do something before you could do it. Uh-oh. You don't have to know how to do anything. Now, you may need a framework, or you may need a couple of steps. You may need a few things to kind of like get you going. But here's what you do need. And this is what I'll be using. This is what's changing my life, and it's going to change millions of people's lives. You just need one question. You just need one question. I'm saying it again. You just need one question. Just one. You ask the right question. If you ask the right question, you could change your life right now. So I was on a mentorship call yesterday with one of my main coaches. He's my main coach. I have a couple others, but he's my main coach. And he said something yesterday, something that I've thought about, but he said something that blew me away. He says, man, I spent $250,000 being this mastermind. And, he's kind of going through the motions, and he hadn't really been, he's been listening to the mastermind leader, but not really listening. Spending $250,000 to be in a group, and he's not listening. How many of you have ever spent money on something? Maybe you bought something like, I shouldn't have bought that. Or maybe it's not that big of a deal. Or I could buy a program and not really go through it, or go through it half-heartedly. And, let me just keep doing this thing over here. But sometimes we could do things and not really catch the grace and not really catch the favor that's on the thing that, as you step forward into it, you're like, oh, that's a new life. And so my coach, my mentor, what he shared was that just like many people, just like many of us, what happens is we take for granted the information that we're capturing. Kind of this podcast. I'm sure that I probably given so much great value here that a lot of times, and I'll say many of us may not implement anything. You just come back and listen. Oh, it's great. But what if I actually did something? And so my coach was talking about how he heard something that his coach was telling him that he had heard hundreds of times. And it hit him. What if I pretend? This is what he said. What if I pretend it was true? This is how you can build your life, guys. That's why this Account for Life podcast is here. So I can bring you the information so you can do it. This is one of the questions you can ask. What if I pretend X is true? What if I pretend I'm a billionaire? What if I pretend that I'm a billionaire is true? What if I pretend that I have a yacht sitting in the Bahamas on a beachfront property? What if I pretend I have a beachfront home down in Tampa? What if I pretend, that, my wife gets to drive the car that she desires? What if I pretend that I get to drive the car that I desire? What if I pretend that my kids get to do things that they've never done based on just because I'm able to financially put the backing behind it and show them how things really work in life? What if I pretend even my ministry would get out to millions of people? What if I pretend that this podcast could get to millions of people? Or what if I pretend that it doesn't even require me to do any more work than what I've been doing? What if I just pretended all that stuff and just acted as if all those things were true to me right now? I want to share something with you. And this is what I'm going to share with you. The kingdom of God has given us that. Everything that I've just said, the kingdom of God welcomes us in and says, hey, you want these things? Okay, don't worry about those things. Here's the thing. You want these things? Okay, Yes. Don't worry about these things. Just walk in and discover what the kingdom has and what the kingdom assignment is for you. And then from the assignment, all of a sudden you're stepping forward and it's just like, oh, this is me. This has been me. Like, oh, wow. I started a new series on Instagram. I'm going live on Instagram every day at 8:00. Jay, you're doing nothing. Yeah, I like going on video. And for some reason, I do have things I can probably talk about. But these videos are going to be different because what I realized is I've been doing some things wrong. So I'm gonna go on Instagram for about 5, maybe 10 minutes max, probably not even 10, just probably between 3 and 7 minutes every single day. I know, right? Jenny's probably saying, you can do 3 minutes? Yeah, I can do today. I think it was just under 7 minutes. Every day I'm gonna go on to Instagram and I'm gonna talk about building a business from the things that I'm doing right now. See, I've been living since the time the internet started. I'm 51, be 52. I says, oh my goodness, the internet started while I was living. Oh my goodness, computers became personal while I was living. Like social media has been here while I was living. You telling me I've been missing out on something? All right. This is where you really get into how you do hard things or new things. I want you to look around. Look around where you are in your life right now. And then I want you to look around and say, okay, and you got to answer this question. Are we living in a good time or are we living in bad times? There's some of both, but just decide what time you're going to live in. Are you living in good times or are you living in bad times? Because this is what's going to set you up. I'm choosing to believe I'm living in good times. So that's the first thing you can decide today, how to do things that are new or hard. Because if you're living in bad times, then you're probably not going to do anything. But if you decide to live in good times, all right, I'm living in good times. That means I got the internet. I've got all these tools that I can use. I don't have to use the same thing that I've been using. I don't even have to. There's so many things I don't have to do anymore. But I'm living in good times, and I'm going to now pretend. I'm going to now pretend that whatever I move towards is easy. I'm going to pretend that. A few years ago, I did a sermon at a church down in North Carolina. A friend of mine is a pastor. I know, right? I actually preached in front of churches a few times, not many, maybe 5 or 6, and it was called. I can't remember the whole thing, but it was where I introduced this thing called the easy way. It's interesting, right? Because the more you do things, the more you learn about something. Yeah, like Gwendolyn's on here, and Gwendolyn, the more she plays the piano, the more she does the singing, the more she starts. I can guarantee she sees patterns in things. So the more I use the things that I've been given. What have you been given? Sometimes you got to cultivate something. Yeah, Gwen says, yeah, she starts to see patterns in how things operate. Like, like all of a sudden, someone like Gwendolyn, who plays the piano and instruments and can sing and can hear them, you can hear the music on a new level, so that what happens is the music starts coming out of your body and out of everything. And so when you're touching, I can imagine, because this is what happens to me when I'm playing this podcast. like while I'm playing the podcast, all of a sudden it's like the pattern shows up. I can see this and I can see that, how I can tie one story into another, or how I can literally come up with something brand new while I'm playing the podcast. And so Gwendolyn says the dots start connecting. Yes, the dots are connecting. All of a sudden, the fingers are doing new things. And she's like, oh, that sounds good. Well, I'm going to do that again. And all of a sudden, it's just like, and someone looks up and says, well, Gwendolyn, how'd you get so good? I just kept playing. Gwendolyn's helped me to discover how we're going to help people to dominate their industries, their opportunities, and their lives. Gwendolyn, you helped me to do that. How did Gwendolyn help you to do that? Here's how Gwendolyn, my niece, who's a dominator on those keys, she helped me to see that in order to be successful at anything, you cannot have an obstruction in you. Listen, if you haven't watched the Breakthrough series that I did in February, you want to go back and watch the Breakthrough series, because that series right there is going to earn us millions of dollars. That series that I did on here for free. And some people are going to pay me tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach them how that works. But Gwendolyn helped me. This is why gifts are important. Then I'm going to let you go. Gifts are important because your gift is not for you. Uh-oh. What? No, it ain't for you. Fruit ain't for the tree. When the fruit comes off the tree, then that's for us to go and eat. And then it's for the tree to keep bringing more. So your gift is for other people to eat of, to consume. You're going to need someone else's gift so that you can continue in your life. Gwendolyn's gift, the fact that she learned how to play the piano, taught me a brand new thing. Her gift went inside of me, and then all of a sudden I saw something new in me that I was able to pull out creatively. So guys, how do you do new things? How do you do hard things? Simple. You take one foot and you step towards it. But before you step towards it, what if I pretend this is true? That's the question. And then step towards it. That's how you do new things, and that's how you do hard things, just by pretending and then going towards pretend. And if you do that, you're going to discover your gift. You're going to discover your purpose. You're going to be more successful. You're going to be able to make an impact in the world. You're going to be able to do so many things that you never thought you can do, all because you asked a basic question and then you stepped towards where it is that you could go at that point. So guys, I hope you got value from the program today. I appreciate you joining me for this episode of the Account for Your Life podcast. I'm Jay Moore, the Healthy Accountant, helping people like you to account for your life, your business, your marriage, whatever it is you need to account for. You can get tools and strategies right here in this program. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Healthy Accountant. Like and share this video on Facebook, wherever you're watching it. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the Healthy Accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.